Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Endometriosis Canada's support group meetings. Today, we have a special guest. We have Kits Blanc with us. Kits is a creator who we saw on Instagram making amazing videos that are relatable for endometriosis. And Kits, would you like to explain more about what you do and your journey?
Yes, hey guys, I'm Kits Blanc. I'm the King of Endo and also the Community Spark King here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I use 100% transparency, just showing my endometriosis flare ups to the world so that people know what endometriosis truly looks like and what the experience is. So that way that they know what their family and their friends are going through, and so that they know what the next generation is, how they can help, how they can advocate for other endo warriors could advocate for themselves and just give a different perspective of what it is other than just what they can see on Google and what doctors are actually telling people what it is. Originally, I was just calling myself Kits and making my videos. When I first came out, I was just a stud, woman, and as I started transitioning and I was bringing awareness and stuff like that, one of my followers came out and they was just like, "Hey, you're the king of endometriosis," and I made a video with a little fake crown on and everything. I was just like, "King of endo, I like that." And I just, I took it and I ran with it. And then a couple of other people, they were just like, King of Endo, King of Endo. And I just took the crown and I wore it after that, and I was just like, I've been crowned. I was crowned by the people and I kept it going after that.
Well, it's very fitting for you. It looks perfect. Would you mind sharing also how you got about to sharing your story and everything publicly?
Yeah, actually, I didn't originally start sharing my story because I wanted to be an influencer. Originally, I started sharing my story because I thought I was going to die. I had got to a point where I was in my bed and I was being dismissed by doctors. My symptoms got extremely severe. I couldn't walk. I could barely talk. I couldn't eat. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even go to the bathroom without pain. And I was just so scared that it was like my last day living. So I had grabbed my phone and I was like crying and everything. And it wasn't even really barely, you could barely hear me in the video. And I was just telling people, like, hey, these are my symptoms. This is what I'm going through. And I don't care if I fall down the stairs, if my lungs collapse, if I have a heart attack. Don't let the doctors don't let the doctors say that's what it was. I want to, if I have to be the first person in history that has been diagnosed with death by endometriosis, I want to be the first person that goes down in history. Like, the endometriosis killed me, and I said that in the video. Like, endometriosis is killing me, and I want to be known for that. Like, I don't want my death certificate to say I died from pneumonia or a collapsed lung. I want the people to know that endometriosis killed me and the doctors will not help me. That I'm trying to get help and no one's listening to me. And I wanted people to start listening to their sisters, to their daughters, to their mothers, and realize that it's not the period. Like, people aren't crunched over and crying because their stomach is just hurting. They're actually in a severe pain, and there's something actually in their body there's something going on there.
We need more people to believe how severe it is because honestly, for me, I find it worse than childbirth. And a lot of people say that. And a lot of people say also that it feels like they're dying when they have their flare-ups. They don't know if it's really serious that they need to go to the ER or not. And it's really scary what we go through. So the more we share, the better, so people can understand how serious it is and hopefully try to help the community. Is there
Exactly.
anything that helped along in your journey that helped you? I know it was probably a struggle and really long.
Yeah, actually, whenever truthfully, that helped me was doing a lot of research. Whenever I was, because I'm a contractor by trade, so I couldn't work anymore. I was laid in bed, and because I didn't have anyone listening to me, my family wasn't listening, friends wasn't listening to me, so I just started looking up endometriosis. And the first things when you first do Google searches, it wasn't telling you a lot. It wouldn't tell you a lot. The 1 in 10 women, and it was a period. You had to have a uterus, the usual stuff. But I started looking deeper into those researches, the big packets with the deep uh, the the terminology that you couldn't understand. I would grab a dictionary and I would look at the words and try to figure out what it was actually saying. And I started realizing that it was actually telling me the things that the doctors weren't saying. Like, yes, it can spread to the brain, it can spread to every single organ in the body, and it does adhere your organs together. It does attach to your skin. It can make me fall down the stairs. It can make it so that my I can't breathe, and it does cause all of these things that I'm experiencing. Even though the doctors are making it seem like I'm going crazy, it's endometriosis that are causing these things, and it sucked that it made me feel like I was going crazy. And like, I've been to mental hospitals. I've been actually admitted to mental hospitals, and I didn't feel like it was fair. So finally being able to read all of that stuff, it helped me to advocate for myself. Like, no, I'm not crazy. These documentations are actually saying they know, like these doctors and these researchers have actually already proven this, and the masses or the people that do not have that actual knowledge of these, like, we aren't researching this, so of course we don't know it, but it's out there. It's there for us to see it. We just don't know it's there. So that stuff actually helped me. And then when I started sharing my story and started sharing my quote unquote the bad days, the worst days that I would have the community. Hey, I've experienced that too. This is what I was doing. The people coming out and just like, hey, I'm dealing with that. This is what I would do. That made me feel seen. It made me feel validated. Like, okay, so I'm not alone. This isn't just in my head. I'm not
This
going
is
crazy.
not
That
just
stuff actually
me.
helped me a lot to
This is
realize,
way
like,
bigger
okay,
than
no,
what
I actually thought it is, and that helped me a lot. And then I actually stopped taking a lot of the medicines that the doctors were trying to force upon me, and started using, like, I mean, you were talking about like the marijuana and stuff like that. That actually did help a lot, and just realizing that different medicines from different countries, because social media brings the world together. So people in different, like in Asia, would use needles and different things, where there's Western medicine and then there's Eastern medicine. So it's like using those different types of things to basically help heal myself and listen to my body is what helped me more.
Like what you were saying about how if you end up in the hospital or die from something, that it's endometriosis. A lot of the time, if someone dies because of their lung collapsing and it's because of endo, they don't say that it's because of endo. They'll just say because of a lung collapse. Or if there's internal bleeding, they'll say it's because of internal bleeding, but they won't say what caused the internal bleeding, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
endo. So, like, it's true. They should be recording that endo is the serious and causing these things so that they can be aware because there's so much like misconceptions out there and just people don't understand. Like you said, they think it's only a bad period, but it's so much more than just that. Are there like a lot of misconceptions or any big ones that you've seen like throughout your journey, especially with
Uh,
different doctors?
all the time. One of the biggest ones are, it's just a period. It's all in your head. Um, just go get a hysterectomy. That's the major one, especially on my social media. They're like, why won't you just get a hysterectomy? Why won't you just get a hysterectomy?
Not a
And the first
cure.
thing, it's not a cure. And then one of my favorite things to say to them are, there are cisgender men with endometriosis and they don't have a uterus. A hysterectomy is the removal of the uterus. And I tell them, okay, people, I get it. You want me to get rid of my uterus? I can get rid of my uterus, but I also have endometriosis on my lungs, on my diaphragm, on my bowel. What is that going to do? If you remove my uterus, it's not going to do anything for all of this up here. And what if it has traveled further up? I know endo warriors with endometriosis in the brain. Removing the uterus is not going to do anything for that. So I don't understand what is that. And then yeah, the period. It's just a bad period. Or, oh, just go get pregnant. Pregnancy, I'll have so many people that's like, oh, I got pregnant and I'm cured for endometriosis. Or people telling me in my messages, oh, well, my doctor cured me of endometriosis. And I'm just like, there's no cure for
Give it time, it
endometriosis.
might come back.
Yeah, and again, I'm not a Debbie Downer, so whenever I hear that on when people say that to me, I say, I'll say something like, "Oh, I love to hear a success story," but I'm not going to tell them there's no cure for endometriosis. You're going to feel it again because we all know you can have endometriosis and not have symptoms, but there's no cure. People, you're going to have it for the rest of your life until we find the cure. So those are a lot of misconceptions, especially the cure for it. There's no cure.
Yeah, removing your uterus and your ovaries would only help if that's where your endo is located, or if you have like adenomyosis within your uterus and you need that removed. But like for instance, I've had a full hysterectomy, but I still have endo affecting me because, like you said, I have on the diaphragm, the bladder, the kidneys, the ureter. So like they can still be attached to other organs and tissue. It doesn't matter whether you have like a hysterectomy or not sometimes. So it's not always a cure. And telling people to get pregnant can be harmful because then if they end up worse after they have their child, a lot of the time people will rebound when they're done breastfeeding and the pain can come back, and sometimes it even comes back worse. And when that happens and people maybe had children because they were pushed into it by their doctors telling them it's a cure, and then they're stuck with their symptoms and having to take care of a baby on top of being sick, which is really difficult and not fair to the child too. So it's just really bad that that's what doctors are still saying. I can't believe for 20 years I keep hearing doctors are still saying that. And it's unbelievable that it's still going on, that get pregnant, it's a cure, or things like that. Just there is no cure, right? Like
It's
they need
sad,
to
and
get that.
it's extremely sad. And I always try to tell my followers that not even it's as early as the 90s, the endometriosis, before it was even called endometriosis, it was called the career women's disease, where doctors were telling
Yeah.
women get pregnant because they were blaming women for having endometriosis. They told women the reason you have endometriosis is because you are not being obedient. You are not getting pregnant and you are not listening to your husband. You're not doing your duty as a wife. So go home, quit your job and be pregnant. So that just shows the dynamic of what it used to be and the whole how it used to be for the man and the woman and how the world used to be. And it's just like that's not fair at all, especially with women's health. And that's what it used to be. Like that was my main topic of when I first started being an influencer with endometriosis is women's health really needs to be the forefront of it needs more recognition. Women's health is still at the bottom, regardless of endometriosis or anything. Women's health needs to be pushed way further up and get more recognition, more funding, and everything.
Yeah, in Canada, I believe it's only 7% of healthcare funding goes for women's healthcare. And that's really sad, 7%. And we're like half of the population. And most chronic illnesses affect women also. So, like, but we have a bill that's being presented, I believe, this fall or next year. And we're hoping to get it passed to get more funding. But a lot of change needs to happen, not just in Canada, but around the world to make
Mhm.
it equal for women to have healthcare rights, not just men. I believe it was until the 90s that they were only doing it for men and only studying men's bodies and
Mhm.
for trials, they didn't even have women or like anyone trying any of these trials unless they were male. And then they were just doing changing the measurements for women, but they weren't really studying women's bodies to see how it's affecting us differently.
Yeah,
So
they don't care. Well,
things move slowly, but they are moving. Is there anything that happened in your journey that maybe helped bring things forward and help make it better for you?
um, well, the conversations for sure. Um, One of the things in my journey that actually made it way better was testosterone, surprisingly. When I started my transition, uh, we all know that endometriosis is fueled by estrogen. So when I came out as a trans man, in my head, was thinking, I was just like, I wonder, estrogen makes it worse and everything like that. I was like, I wonder when I start my transition, I start taking testosterone, is that going to make it better? Is it going to battle it at any point? And man, I can tell you, I used to be in pain 24/7. I couldn't walk. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't, when I say I couldn't talk or eat, like I literally, like, I couldn't move my tongue or swallow. it was really, really bad. And I would be in the hospital 2 to 3 times a week. And they would never admit me. It was always emergency room, go home, emergency room, go home, emergency room, go home. Now I'm barely going to the hospital. I barely have flare ups. It's really interesting how it worked, actually. But
It's
yeah, and
amazing.
it's actually very amazing. And I always try to tell people like, I think they need to do a study on it because I mean, I wouldn't tell women to just go around taking testosterone. That's not fair at all. But I think there needs to be some type of study where they can do something with the testosterone and make like maybe some type. I think there is a type of medicine where it's like there's some type of fake testosterone pill or something that they give
Mhm.
cisgender women where it doesn't change the hormone balance or something like that. But if I go literally 2 days, if I can go 2 to 3 days without taking my testosterone shot on time because I take it weekly, if I go 2 to 3 days, I am in a flare up, in a bad one. I can feel it coming and I will be on the ground. And but as soon as I take it again, I don't feel it. And it's really it's just like that. So it's the testosterone really does fight it really, really well. It's really interesting.
Actually seen videos of a doctor, I think they might be a Canadian doctor, sharing about how testosterone, I think she gives low dose testosterone to women, either for menopausal symptoms or for endometriosis symptoms. And a lot of women say that it has helped them, but a lot of doctors, I think, aren't sure about the dosage and like how to prescribe testosterone. So
Mhm.
a lot of time it doesn't get prescribed. And a lot of time women don't understand that their bodies also have testosterone in it, just like men have
Yeah,
estrogen in them. It's just lower for us. And sometimes it gets too low where we do need that help. But we a lot of the time if women don't know and they're afraid to ask, and if their doctors don't know, or even like for like a cis man or a transgender man that are going to ask for help, if your doctors don't know about how these hormones are going to help you, like then they're not able to help us. And it's hard to find help then. It's like that's why we're called warriors, I think, because we feel like we're fighting all the time, not just our battle with our flare ups, but our battle with the healthcare system of fighting to get heard and seen.
absolutely. And it's ridiculous. It shouldn't even have to be that way.
I know it's really hard. It's hard for a lot of people. Is there any advice that you would give to someone that's struggling right now, going through this?
Yes, it's that you know your body better than anybody. And that is something that I preach it like it is the Bible because it is true. And I know it's sometimes it's really hard for people to grasp, but I say that because it's like kind of like if you go back to the beginning of time before there were doctors or anything like that, you have to think about it. We all used to heal ourselves. You know, if we had a broken bone or when people were to have a baby and we were breastfeeding and stuff like that, the body changed. If the baby was sick, the breast milk would change and it would change to whatever that baby needed at the time. Our bodies, it gives us warnings. That's why we have stomach aches, we have headaches, and if it gets too hot outside, we sweat and all this other stuff. It's like our bodies do and change and maneuver how it is supposed to help us survive. And a lot of the time we fight it because we don't want to deal with whatever it is that we're going through because we want to move, we want to have fun, we want to do what we want to do. But if we're actually slow down and be patient. I tell my wife all the time, we are as humans, and just because of technology and the way the world works, we are always moving. We want to go faster. We want to be fast. We don't like commercials and like we just want to do everything super fast. But if we actually just slow down and do be patient with ourselves, be patient with our bodies and stuff like that, we'll actually see that we have the knowledge and the strength to heal. We just have to learn to calm down and slow down and listen to ourselves. We've lost our way of listening to nature, and I don't mean the nature of like the woods and stuff, but I mean even the nature of our own selves and our bodies and things like that.
And how we connect with the environments around us and just all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Um, so I've been hearing lately that there's new tests coming out, like the saliva test and the endosure test, which they stick on you like probes, like EKG. And these are coming out, I believe, in Ireland, and we're hoping to have them soon here. We do have endosure maybe in 3 clinics in the country in Canada, but we're hoping to get more. And I think there might be a few in the US. So it's a hope that we keep hearing that the saliva test is coming every year. Is there anything that you've heard about that maybe gives you hope for the future for endometriosis?
I actually have heard of the I've heard of the saliva test. I keep hearing about all of these different endometriosis tests that are not um, invasive. Like you don't have to go through the body, you don't have to have surgeries or anything like that to be diagnosed. Even like with there's like a one where if you are a menstruating individual, you can take the menstrual blood and then you can get diagnosed with it that way. And I've heard about it all over the world, but I have not seen them. Like I haven't seen them in America or anywhere else. So it's like everything's always in like the testing phases or something like that. But they always give me hope. I'm excited. It makes me. I'm really interested in seeing that. Um, I'm excited that we're having like these conversations today with different organizations, different influencers. I'm happy to see that the younger generations, they are just refuse to not be heard. You know, they refuse to be dismissed by the doctors. I love to see that, and it gives me hope the for the future in endometriosis care. You know, we're starting to come together more. We are starting to push more. We're starting to fight for women's rights more. We're starting to fight for awareness. There are a lot of bad that comes with social media, but there's a lot of good. There's a lot more. There's a lot positivity that comes with the world opening up and being able to see each other, being able to see, like you said, that Ireland has this saliva test and that Canada has this and that the United States has that, instead of us all being so disconnected and not knowing what's out there. The fact that we can all see that, and maybe we can all just break down the barriers a little bit more, like instead of all of these laws, and like why do we have to be so disconnected? Why do we always have to, like, oh, if you're over here you can't get it, and if you're over here we can't get, how come we can't just all just share the wealth? I never understood that. It's like I get it. I don't get it. I'm not gonna lie. I understand that there are laws and the wars and all this other stuff and politics, but I've never understood as human beings why we always have to make everything about money and financial gain. I think we should just all share it. And then,
Yeah, definitely. Like there are some doctors, I know like Dr. Fogelson, I believe in Seattle. Sorry, I could be wrong, but somewhere in the US. I interviewed him last year and he travels to Africa and he does like he goes and treats people for free. And there's other doctors that will travel to countries where it's needed, where they don't have doctors to help treat people. But we just need more of that, but not just the doctors, but also the knowledge and all the resources to be shared with the other doctors, the nurses, physiotherapists, just to get everybody on board of what's happening, what endo is, what can help it, what is true about things that can help, and what are just misconceptions. And what you said before about the body, about healing itself, I've heard doctors say in the past that they have sometimes patients that will get better on their own, like the endometriosis will just lessen over time. And it's rare, but it does happen, and they don't know why. And that would be amazing if they could study like what is different about the like these people where their endo is healing on its own so that they could maybe learn how to manipulate bodies to try to heal endo on its own instead of like shoving all these different hormones in us or those hormone blocking ones, which are like honestly the worst. I feel like they have horrible symptoms and side effects. I don't know if you've been through that, but it can be
no,
brutal.
yeah. Yeah, and I love that. That's beautiful. And I tell my wife all the time, like, if I can have it my way, and of course, it's always difficult because of money and politics and stuff like that. But if I can have it my way, I would get an RV or a schoolie. I want to travel the world because I want to try that. I want to go to different countries and see the different ways of healing and not do it with medicine. I want to go over here and meditate with different people. I want to go over there and try maybe one of the healing lagoons. I've heard like my grandfather is really big on not doing medicines. He believes in letting the body heal itself. That stress is a lot of things that is one of the things that really causes um like you said, like being able to heal yourself and stuff like that. If you are with nature and not having to deal with the bills and the stress of modern civilization if you're able to just be and listen to nature and just meditate and be okay and not have to stress too much. Maybe you are baby. Maybe you will be able to heal because you're not putting your body on too much, you know? So that's something I've always wanted to test out and, just share with the world, share with my followers. Like maybe my symptoms will go down. And if that is something that's true, I would share it with the rest of the world. Like, hey, maybe this is something we need to do instead of taking this medicine. Maybe we all just need to be, you know?
Yeah. Aw, it's amazing that these videos, I hope everyone checks them out because they are relatable and they're just, you make so many and they're just so amazing to watch. They're also entertaining at times and just you feel like you're not alone, like other people are going through it too. And there's a community out there that you can reach out to. Do you ever respond to people if they comment or send messages also?
Yes, I get a lot of inbox messages, so I try to tell people, do not inbox me. I most of the time won't get to them, but I try to message people back whenever they comment under my posts, especially when they're asking for advice. I always try to comment back at the like whenever I see something that is like attacking to the community, someone that'll say something that I know for sure will hurt the community, like someone, oh, it's just a period. I will make sure that I will make a video that responds to that because it's like you're saying this and someone might see that is younger than me. And the fact that I'm not responding to that, they might believe that. So let me respond to this video saying that's not what this is so that the next generation does not believe in this. Or because, like I said, I'm the community spark king, I represent also the LGBTQ community. So people may come in my comments and they will attack my gender or me being a trans man and stuff like that. So I will also respond to transphobic comments and stuff like that as well, because I also represent those people and I make sure that I represent a lot of people. So I want to make sure that I respond in a way that it gives those people a voice. I give other people voices that may not speak up for themselves, and it put me in a lot of, I respond to things that I've been through therapy. And I know that a lot of times when people are attacking you, it's because they are hurting them somewhere in themselves. And if someone attacks or says something to you and it hurts you, it's usually because it's something that is already hurting you deep down. A lot of times, I'm not offended by a lot of things that people say because I've gone through therapy and it doesn't hurt me because I'm not offended by it because it's not something that I'm already offended by.
We're
Like if
not them
someone
with the
says,
problem, not you, right?
yeah, exactly. It's them, not me. So if someone's just like, oh, you're only doing this like you're faking it. You're not really sick. You're faking. I'm like, well, I am sick. So of course I'm not going to get offended by that. But somebody else might see that and be like, oh, I probably am not sick, and it's going to hurt their feelings. So I'm going to respond to that to make sure that the person that may feel like, oh, they're not responding to that, that means that they're not sick and I should feel some type of way. Like, no, you shouldn't feel some type of way. This is what you say to somebody that would say that to you. This is how you would respond to somebody that would respond to you this way. And I always let people know if someone's attacking you, it's because they're hurting themselves. And you don't always have to respond. But if you feel like you need to, this is what you can say. And when I was younger, I was hurting a lot. And I have the wounds to show it. I show it all the time. I was a cutter when I was younger. I was very depressed. And I will never cover them up. I'm never afraid to show them. It's a part of my story. And a lot of it started because when I was younger, I was not believed in my journey. I remember when I was in elementary school, I had all of the stomach aches, the bowel pain, but I had chronic migraines and all of that stuff. And when I got older, I realized I'm like, wow, all of this was from endometriosis. I remember bleeding when I was way, way before menstruation ages. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I just thought, God had forsaken me because I was a Christian kid. And I was just afraid to even tell my parent that I wanted to go to the hospital because every time we went to the hospital, the doctor was telling my parent that I was seeking attention. and I didn't want to go to school, but I was a straight A student and I love school. I didn't even want to miss school. So it just made me feel like, okay, I'm going crazy and maybe I'm going to hell or something. Like
Oh,
it was really sad. And I never wanted I never wanted my kids or my grandkids, my nieces, my nephews, and I didn't want the next generation to have to feel the way that I did growing up. So I felt like I needed to fight a fight that my that the adults didn't fight for me. I wanted to fight for the other children, that the kids that are behind me, that they don't have to go through it. And even if they are going through it right now, I want them to look at me and be like, okay, I don't have to do it because he's doing it. Or I can show, like I tell people all the time, like, they're like, well, what should I do, kids? They'll come to my message. You're like, what should I do? My doctor's not listening to me. I'll tell them right then and there. If record yourself in pain and take it to your doctor. If your doctor don't listen to you, show him my videos. But like, you see this man right here? That's what I be feeling. That's exactly what I'm going through right now. When you keep telling me I'm not dealing with it, that's exactly what and that's why I show them. There's times where I tell my wife, like, I'm going through it and I can't grab my phone. I'm like, babe, I know it's going to sound weird, but please go grab the phone right now. And she's like, what? I'm like, go grab the phone. Like, and it's like, I can't grab it, but please go get the phone. And I know it sounds weird. And I know I'm asking for something really stupid. But please go grab the phone because I can't grab it, but I need you to record me right now because I can't record me right now. And there's a lot of missed opportunities. Like right last night, I couldn't breathe and it was a missed opportunity. And it always makes me so angry because I'm like, oh, I need cameras in this dang house, like just all over the place because I couldn't breathe last night and I felt like I was being stabbed, and my wife helped me up, and you just have to breathe through it, and it took me like 30 minutes, and I was just like, oh God, is this going to be an emergency room night? But I got through it, and then I went to sleep. But it was a missed moment, a missed opportunity for me to show the people like there are there's not a time where you there's not a time where you're not going to have a flare up. There's not a, oh yeah, every night you're going to be okay. You just never know. It can happen when you're driving. There's times I've happened when I was driving. There's times where I'm walking down the steps. I've literally fallen down the steps and broken my ankle while I was doing the laundry. Is you just never know. It can happen like that. So
yeah, I remember having to pull over once when I was driving because the spasm came all of a sudden. And spasms, like when they hit, you have no control. And luckily, I wasn't on the highway or anything else. Sorry, you guys probably call them freeways. We call them highways. But luckily I was just on the side road, so I was able to pull over. But then after that, I was scared to drive because I'm like, what if that happens again? Like it can be really dangerous. And I don't drive anymore because my symptoms have gotten worsened. But like it really affects everything. And a lot of the time I hear from endo warriors sharing that they have to they feel they have to share their symptoms a lot because people don't believe that how serious it is, or people will tell them to suck it up and go to work, or that they need to show up for this or that, and they don't understand. Like, and I feel like, and they sometimes will say that they're tired of hearing about endometriosis, like it's an excuse. But as long as people keep not understanding how much it's affecting us, our daily life, like work, families, like we need like creators like you and Wolf Women and the doctors that are on Instagram and TikTok sharing how serious it is so people can understand it. And I don't think we should ever stop as long as there's still misconceptions and misinformation out there. We still have to like keep putting the truth out there to help bury the false information so everyone knows what's real and what's not.
yes, ma'am, absolutely, I agree.
Would you like to share where people could find you online? Because I'm sure lots of
Yeah,
people are going to look you up.
yes, absolutely. You can find me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and also on Twitch because sometimes I'm doing gaming. You can talk to me on there. Kits Blanc, that's KITSBLANC. And I'm usually always online. Sometimes you'll have a couple of, like maybe a day where I didn't post, but I don't go too long because the people need me. I try to go live, but I don't go live too much. But yeah, I'm always posting, so you guys can always find me for sure.
There might be some gamers out there, so they can check you out too on Twitch. Are you on Discord also?
Yes,
I
I'm
know a lot of
also on,
gamers go on there.
yes, I'm also on Discord. I'm not sure if my name is Kits Blanc, but after this, I'm going to change it to His Blanc just in case it's not Kits Blanc. But I've had Discord for a couple of years now, and I originally gone on there with cryptocurrency because I'm really into crypto and NFTs, and I love the virtual reality and stuff. So I didn't start it when I had started my social media, but I will change it to Kits Blanc just in case, just in case anyone's looking for me.
Well, I'll also post links for everything afterwards when this is posted online so people can find you easily just by clicking on the link. I'm sure a lot of people are going to check you out because you're just amazing and such a sweetheart. So thank you so much for doing this today and for
Yeah,
spreading all your advocacy and all your information out there for everyone else to help them.
absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you and have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend.
You as well. Bye.
Thank you.